My name is Ben Liao, and this video will serve to highlight a couple of the audio implementation options I chose within my demo reel. First, I will go over footsteps and how they change surface sounds depending on what the player character is standing on. So, hopefully you noticed the change in footstep impact when the character went onto the wooden boards from the stone path. Implementing the steps themselves is quite easy. Attach a wise event call to any frame in the animation, and every time the animation plays that frame, it'll recall that event, which is to play footstep. To switch per surface, we will look at the blueprint behind the event call. Basically, this node fires an invisible line underneath the character and reports back the physical surface of what it collides with. From there, we recall the wise event and set the switch container in wise. The physical surface that was returned earlier will plug into the switch and will tell wise which footstep surface to play. Second, we will discuss the simple logic behind the enemy vocalizations. I will focus on the humanoid characters as their AI and behavior is slightly more complex than the others. Essentially, I created a simple AI with two main states, undetected and detected, for combat. Until the player attacks, becomes visible, or makes a loud enough sound, the enemy will stay idle. When it is triggered, it will yell an attack vocalization, which will inform any enemies within the vicinity as well. Then we move into combat mode, where any collision of a projectile will trigger a pain vocalization until they run out of health, in which they'll switch to a dying sound. This logic applies to the other enemies as well, with the added attack vocalization tied to their animation. The last feature I would like to discuss was removed from the final cut to save time, but I felt like it was a good thing to discuss.
See to the next room.
Collision audio was a far more complicated feature to implement. I first recorded a bunch of collision sounds at varying intensities. I hooked them up in wise to a switch container controlled by a real-time parameter control. This RTPC was following the velocity of the object as it impacts a surface. Whenever the object is disturbed and collides with something, it will send back an event call to play the impact sound, as well as the velocity. Wise would receive this info, and depending on the velocity received, play the appropriate intensity for the impact. These three features were the basis to much of the implementation challenges I put forth for this project. Thank you for listening. My name is Ben Liao at benliaoaudio.com.